Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
So this beautiful lady with us right now is a seer, and her name is Agayaka, and we have a quantum leaper, a visionary, custodian of HU Earth, Essence New Thought Leader, Quantum Leap Life Coach, Catalyst, Quantum Energy Transferer, Game Changer, Quantum Breath Prana Facilitator, Quantum Key Flow, Chi Flow Movement, Meta Health Integrative Detox Nutritionist, Connector of People and Ideas. She lives the motto, every second is a chance to turn your life around. Designer of a program toolkit, Quantum Leap Change, QLC. Aga has transformed hundreds of people's lives from inside out, powerfully helping each person to reconnect to their most authentic self and become aligned to their soul purpose to play a true game in life. She acts as inner activator conduit. She's not here to heal you. She's here to guide you to access all the power to do so within yourself. And she's here to share with us a presentation today on light language, celestial coding. And my darling lady, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a nice introduction. It's really hard, to be honest, for me to put any kind of words and definitions upon my work that I've been doing, because we do exist somewhere in the realm beyond, and at one stage you can see that all the definitions and concepts, everything is just blending into something that is not fully real, and it's also an illusion. Sometimes when we tap into this bigger picture within us that I awoke around to 15 years ago or so in my teenage years, and then later on into the life, and I started talking about the quantum physics and merging since I'm 10 years old, to be honest, the quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and started exploring loads of realms when it comes to spirituality and religion. What I always saw is basically we cannot create different containers, they have this, we've got this solution, they've got this, and I was always trying to merge everything into putting one pot of soup, and all the solutions from different communities that are working and that are remarkably showing amazing solutions to put into one pot of humanity and not create any divisions. That's the way I found Sasha Stone as well, and Amma, and the project New Earth in Bali. I lived in Ireland for 9 years and was a grid worker and worked with ley lines of Archangel Michael and Newgrange and many other sacred places in there. My journey started taking me to different locations all over the world, also just in pure surrender and guided by the spirit. At one stage, you just needed to let go of everything. I was guided to work in crop circles, by the way, very similar to the one that is behind you in UK, in Glastonbury, in heart chakra of the planet, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. Had many experiences with extraterrestrial intelligence, and was shown a lot things connected to plasma technology that I've been also exploring since my teenage years, and nobody actually understood what I'm talking about, talking about we are all one and brothers and sisters, and energy should be for free, and talking about Tesla technologies from early childhood. That is also why I left Poland after my university years, because I couldn't find myself here. Nobody understood me. I always felt like an outsider. like a black sheep in the family, always trying to explore new rivers of consciousness and not the rigid forms of education and stuff like that. I explored a lot of sacred sites in UK, in Avebury, in Stonehenge, was working with people specifically in different locations connected to crop circles. One of the most impactful for me around 8-9 years ago was a Pleiadian structure crop circle called the Seven Sisters, which was a very, very deep experience for me and pure remembrance with the star nation of Pleiades and my deepest connection with Lyra beings and many other galaxies and benevolent beings as well. So sometimes they don't even like speak our language, but you can literally feel what kind of resonance is out there to connect with you when you carry like a pure vibration of love. At the same time, very important to keep our own energy and our shield together, because there is lots of traffic out there when you start perceiving different dimensions. And it's very important to be also like fierce in our own grace and know what is the false information and false light out there and what is not. I was working with ley lines and anchoring the light in different locations. Also in Hawaii, I was led to United States with quantum leap journey. Very fast manifestations, like literally occurring with every thought. As guided by the spirit, needed to be in Mount Shasta, something happens, I am there. I was a speaker on different conferences in Sedona, in Arizona, in Joshua Tree in California, and a part of the Awakened Empowered Conference in Detroit, in Michigan as well, sharing lots of things connected to light language, to spirituality, but also technology. I really loved the previous friend of mine, Cosmic Kobus, talking about the yoga and technology and how we need to merge. It's like exactly the same. It's like what we need to bring is diversity in this unity and not fighting within each other, or like, okay, this community have these solutions, we've got this, somebody else have this, and generally just bringing all solutions all together and not fighting the old system, but just building something new that propels the old system to just deconstruct. It becomes obsolete by itself. I was a seer since early childhood, and a lot of educational systems started shutting it down as well. I was I wasn't sure about my sanity after we start talking about things which are not received well. Always felt like I'm a little bit too early for my times, and I believe most of the people in this conference had this feeling of being different and odd, and just needed to be surrendered into the stream, into the consciousness, into the aliveness, like plasmic kind of field, what I studying a lot of Sanskrit and Upanishads as well, and working with Bantino Massaro, spiritual teacher, and with other channelers that I was on conferences with, like the Sasani beings, Bashar, and merging the ancient wisdom with future technology. I'm at heart, I'm like a deep inventor. I kind of see things to come into fruition. Very developed sense of higher psychic when it comes to Tesla and scalar technology, the free energy devices, and going into this direction fully for the next generations. I did go through a lot as well. Like there are lots of attacks, I believe, on spiritual workers and light bearers in here. It's very often we've got lot of bumpy roads, so that we need to gain our strength. And inner core, just working with chakras, but not even the 7 chakras. It's like going so beyond and just being fully and completely connected with the celestial grid and anchor in the sky, and fully at the same time deeply with 2 feet in the soil, and just feeling connection of this anchor field from from our sacred sexuality into the deep roots of Mother Earth. When I was 18 or 19, I don't remember fully, I literally shifted into deep meditation, into remembrance how we are born. And I believe like everybody should hear this, because this is exactly who we are. Being shifted very deeply into the place of nothingness, just pure empty nothingness, like you can't even know what it is. It's even beyond nothingness. And from that something sparkled, and I felt myself like a conscious, plasmatic, unformed manifestation of something that wanted to create. And I remember I was creating planet here, galaxy here, seeding some life in here, seeding some bugs or bacteria, water, fire on different kind of locations, stars. And then me as a suit of a human, just suspended in between the stars, somewhere up above. And I didn't feel I have any bones or any blood or any structure inside, even no cells, just empty with the frame of a human vessel just floating up above. And then I had the most significant experience of my life, when I was literally shown what we are made of experientially. It was the most orgasmic experience I had in this lifetime, because you being literally shown the birth of your creation. And through the root channel, what I experienced was just this deep force of pure light, like stardust, and little glitter of white light that filled me up completely, and is consisting us from inside out. Then I was shown the planet Earth, and my hands holding the planet Earth, and there was lots of light coming out of them, and I was descending on the planet, and felt at the same time like the density and the magnetism of this planet, and the heaviness. And it was like almost like the hesitation that happened, but I knew I chose this experience. I came here for that, to be the anchor of light and helper with the shifting of this consciousness at this time. Later on, after working in Bali, I developed etheric surgery capabilities. I had a life-changing experience. I almost died on a scooter, and came out of the body, met again my light family, who told me that it is not my time yet, and apparently I am here to live a lot longer, because there is work to be done. And I remember myself also shifting into this pure light, and just doing etheric surgery on my body, laying on the street, and then shifting back into the body. It was also like really divinely guided. I met Amma later on in Bali. We also worked together, and I'm so grateful for her help, sister, so that I could heal much faster, and very deep soul connection from something that doctors tell you that you may not walk again, and you're not just bringing that into your consciousness, like, okay, this is your opinion, I don't believe that. It's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I worked with Joe Dispenza before with neurotransmitter reprogramming, and always teaching everybody else about it. So basically, it was time for me to start adjusting it also to myself and seeing how it works. And it works perfectly after like being on a wheelchair back on a plane to Europe. I run like Forrest Gump these days. It's also shifting into the consciousness and the perception of living and working with this pranic consciousness that is all around us and it's feeling us. And when we become one with that and with intention, we just propel our vision of like being nourished by this pranic consciousness of all there is from inside out on a deep cellular level, with all the nutrients, minerals, vitamins, essential amino acids and fatty acids, and perfect hydration that we need to propel our mission and vision, with the highest intention of being connected to our own unique blueprint and our origin. And then things start to happen. And it really needs to come from deep heart desire and deep service, and just being really, really rigid about that. I believe the power of intention is very, very important. And then the feelings that we start feeling within our body to bring forth things into our reality. And what helped me a lot with healing myself and then propelling it for others is just pure access of light, a light language and light consciousness, which became much better for me than even like speaking in words. And it's crazy because I'm quite talkative at times. I studied journalism and social communication, and I was alternative journalist for around 10-12 years as well, just really always bringing the information out there to people. And then after a while you just shift that into the awareness, being aware of itself. It's not even like being just awareness and just sitting and just watching our thoughts, or like people just swimming in this realm of like one awareness, but not aligning with sisterhood and brotherhood and uniting ourselves in diversity. There is lots of like riots now in the world and stuff, when actually I believe like in a second we can like stop this and have like enlightened civilization, literally, when people just stop playing the game, because this is one coin, right? And if there is no one side, there won't be another side. It's always like fight, and we need to find this middle point, which is the common ground, the middle point. And like Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. We literally can shapeshift and shift entire reality into something which is truly miraculous. And so what I was shown and developed by myself with the light language or working with people is that we don't even need to create something. Like people get like worried about like losing jobs and stuff like that, and everything is going like to hell, and it brings more anger within them. It's more about just aligning with what is real and true within us, and just finding this middle ground, right? And very often it's really hard to describe to people to shift into the pure awareness of watching the awareness, like the I state, which is beyond the awareness, which what I see humanity is just entering on a global scale, just flowing into one river. But there is something more beyond the face of neti, right? I am not this, I am not that, like exploring different branches into the oneness. But then where we are heading, it's literally the portal of pure light, which is like the even beyond the oneness concept. And I think that this brings a lot of havoc in the world, because people are really afraid of the unknown. They don't know how their new expression will sound, how their life will look like, which is not connected to the old ways and stuff like that. Me with a very deep scientific mind as well, and anarchist before and stuff like that. I needed also to let go and surrender completely to the journey that was taking me to different locations in the world, also Sedona, Arizona, and different ley lines and ley grids, where I started entering more and more of myself. And then what we need to do is completely drop the way we think we should be, because once we start thinking the way we should be, or anything connected to should or shouldn't, it needs to go, it must go, like straight away, because only this pure, it's not even about the righteousness, it's about the entering of pure innocence, like this spontaneous reality of a child. When people start realizing that life is here and now, and in every second, when we follow our joy and the golden rule at heart, magic starts to happen, because the consciousness will birth forward more and more for you to access that and share from that space. What I started seeing with the light language that I started entering is basically what we do is shapeshift other people into the reality where their highest intention, or what is in the highest good for them in that moment, is to be propelled for the body. It's not planning something for them, or like making a plan for like a structure of like 10 years or something like that. It's literally just working with the higher self and the great spirit and deep connection with another person, for example, through etheric surgery, for the best beneficial outcome for the soul of that person in this single moment. And for example, when we work with light language and shape-shifting into the realities, it's basically about not approaching a person like a person that is broken and that needs to be fixed. For example, somebody with the cancer, it's literally just seeing that person so deeply in pure light, in the Malkuta Deshmeya. I call it Malkuta Deshmeya from Aramaic, is the kingdom, blessed kingdom of heaven, and Rukha de Kadusha, which is the Holy Spirit, just connecting to those. And because everything that can exist already exists. So what I found years ago, what we do is basically just working with this like light language and the celestial kind of energy that work through us when we become a pure vessel, and let go of the structure of the words of any languages, because the telepathic connection from the spirit with the heart comes so strongly that it shapeshifts the person into the perfect reality where the illness does not exist or never existed. So in this way,
Hopefully we will get the video back up very, very shortly. I'm sure you are all loving this presentation. She's back. We lost you for a brief moment, honey.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, internet connection is a little unstable. It comes out. I'm in Polish mountains at the moment, very close to the Czech border, and like half an hour away from the place Wim Hof owns in Polish mountains and runs his retreats, by the way. And I climbed on Prana, the Śnieżka mountain, the famous mountain that Wim Hof takes people when he comes to Poland as well. It's also like divinely guided, the place I am in, and it's really, really, really beautiful. You've got like it looks like Portland or Oregon a little bit in here. I'm very blessed, to be honest. What I found also, because I was judging myself a lot, I didn't live in Poland for like 12 years or 15 almost, because I never found myself in here. But also what we see when you're on a certain frequency or like different state of consciousness, you keep on finding those peoples, those places, or guided to these places. Like, I don't know sometimes how even, it's like this surrender. You cannot do different things. It's like something just tells you, okay, you need to go. And there is also like lots of blockages very often we've got thrown onto our plate. And then there's a test. We need to keep going. We need to keep going. I remember very fast, I'm going to give a very funny example. I was flying to Munich one time from Ireland for a workshop called The Fifth Element. It really called me, and I'm very deeply into the fifth element, the Aleph, the etheric kind of realm since early childhood. I'm very like prana, air-like being in here. And the workshop really called me, and I was also like a facilitator there. And somehow from my laptop took, instead of my name and surname, it took my nickname to put on a ticket, on aeroplane ticket. And so instead of Agata Sierputowska, which is my Polish name and surname, it translated into Quantum Aga. And when I arrived at Munich, they didn't want to let me in because it wasn't the name that I had in my passport. And Germans are quite strict about that. And it's also like always a test, like, because it's like, okay, we're gonna like go into reactiveness or stuff. And this is just one example of many. Probably everybody had their kind of ways as well. But there's like, no, we can't let you in. For like 60 years we didn't like allow somebody who has like, not the right name with the passport and stuff like that. And I just knew I need to be there. So it's like I just shifted into the perfect reality already, saw myself in that gathering, on that workshop. There is no other way. I cannot enter it. Went very deeply for like 3 minutes into feeling of that feeling being fulfilled already. And somehow they just came within like 5 minutes from administration. It's like, and said, you know what, this time we're gonna just blink an eye and it's like, you can go. It's very magical when we have this like breath of awareness, and it's like, okay, whether I'm gonna be reactive towards that or just respond differently, and from the space where all is well and everything happens for a higher purpose, all is well in all of existence, and always having that vision of the best outcome for ourselves, at the same putting an intention for the entire humanity. Anyway, sorry, I'm quite a talker. There is so much magic to be, because it's overwhelming. There's so much magic to be entered, literally, like in the world. And I wish like everybody could see that. It's like when we even go into the nature and start listening to everything happening around us, and just our capacity to see dims a little bit, so that we can start seeing the plasmatic frequency of different dimensions just blending in between. It's like the more magic we enter, the more expansive we become, and not contract from it. Our life becomes like a living academy of magic, and being literally thrown into the field from Avatar movie, which I do believe strongly that we are being played that movie now in metaphor what is happening in the world. And also I see things around people, and I see through different.
She'll come back. We'll just give her a moment. We were talking earlier about the high vibrational frequency that this event is creating, and the chinks that technology has due to that. . . 。
You frozen for a second. You did froze.
Yeah, we've got you back now.
Okay. Was I out for a long time?
No, just a moment.
Okay. So I do believe that we are really like the star, the blue beings. In here, I see the glowing kind of thing through the skin, especially the first time, probably 4 years ago, when I met Ama Vai Ching Li. It's just pure plasma blue light, and I'm like, oh my god! And it's like you meet a person, it's like you go into different locations, you just know. You say, oh, this is my sister. It's like we don't need to, go to the same primary school and stuff. It's just instant knowing. And what we are entering now with the light language and everything is the capability of being connected telepathically as well. Like we don't really need to like learn different languages, because what I'm being shown is actually going down for those who are on different frequency kind of bandwidth, right? We see each other. I see how we travel within the next couple of years, like literally the portal traveling and teleportation is already available for us. I was sharing about that also like 6 years ago. People are looking at me as if I'm crazy. It's like, no, we do have this technology. It's so possible. Also, I do believe that in this decade, the Earth will be deconstructed, that it's a realm, it's a sphere, it's an etheric holographic kind of sphere. It's not even round or flat. There is like this big like also arguing about it. Just when you shapeshift and see how it all looks like, you cannot undo certain things. And sometimes when I'm tired about talking, just I open my heart, especially when I come to people that I know that need to be propelled with vibration, and just fully surrender and let go. And I remember myself on different kind of theme of literally riding the dragons, and we were singing to each other only the light language. Like honestly, it is something that is coming the next 20 years, the next 10 years, and it can happen even faster if people just stopped for a second. It's just breathe. It's like, hey, it's purposeless to fight with each other. It's like we are children and we are playing the thieves and policemen. If there are no policemen, there are no thieves. And at one stage, it's like, hey, what about stop playing and start playing another game? In order to come out of the game, it's literally we need to stop playing. And in this moment of like, oh, that is the portal of the deep unknown, and people don't know what is behind it. And there's something which is far more greater and vaster than the human mind can contain. If you don't mind, I would just share a little bit of the light coding language.
Yes, please. That would be fabulous. Thank you.
Also, I'm a feeler. I feel a lot of things, and with the person, with people on this call, feel connected with the H shaped from my belly button. Like we are literally connected. What I believe, every person that is taking a small stand into making a world a better place we came here to do to make not even ripples. We came here to do waves. Each of you makes, with a little ripple effect, makes huge waves, and you are here to create the next leaders and leaders and leaders, so that the world can merge faster. So I'm also very grateful to be able to come to this summit and be a part of it, because sometimes it feels like, oh, there's like nobody listening, but it's the frequency, is the sharing, is the capability of actually coming together, no matter how small or how big. It actually ripples in effect. And sometimes you touch a life of a person who will end up to give a birth or like, you know, coming with some kind of technology that will propel the being of billions of people. I think all of us in here are very impactful and very influential beings. Thank you. Mahishaka sakana yalahana muhaka satakamayala kanekahi hali shaka satakamayala yakana shaka sitakamahikana Anekasha ayakana kama halakasa takaya la yakasha kana mahiko sahikona kamaya shakana. Umehiyane kiale shakani hare hare naki shaki sahika Amenaya vaya shika sita meyale yale yale Ariana Kayali Ariko Sahika Mahika Layane Casa Hameka Hika Laka. Some joy to you now, guys. May this world propel with its purity, with the vision of highest intention, with divine blueprint. Nasaka shaka hikamanaka sataka yashaka yama. I wish like everybody could experience the vitality, the thriving experience that comes from like pure heart of like being spontaneous as a child, like really entering into this zone of pure joy. And sometimes it's even for me at the beginning it was very weird, but it doesn't matter how old we are here to fully experience that. Kunakasaya kamaya lakana kaya sha umahika satokorumika umanaka shapalakanya lakasatakamanayakan. Bridgers of heaven and earth in the most potent, vital, thriving and vigorous way possible. May the peace, harmony, truthfulness propel forbearance. Kamana Yoshoka, we came here to play. Yolokaya Ariana Pe Ariana Kari Ari Kari Shatika